My name's Jennings Waterhouse, and I have been a member of this group for 9 years and passionate and excited about this technology and learning so much as every year we have new information, new exciting developments, new products, and more stories that get added to our collective that really fuel our journey for health, for becoming the best versions of ourselves. And, I just want to say it's not always easy. So kudos to you guys for putting yourself in a position to explore, to investigate how you can solve the problems that you're coming across in your life, how you can upregulate your health to be the most optimal, and feel really confident that what you're learning here and what LifeVantage has to offer is definitely the cream of the crop. It is the absolute best of the best. And I feel confident saying that because after 9 years, I have not found a single thing that even compares to what we're doing. And one of the benefits is that it really enhances a lot of the other things that you may be doing. So it's not all one and done, but it is so foundationally important, and activating your body and really understanding how that's working is so exciting. So tonight we are going to share some stories, but as a guest here on Wildly Healthy, I want you to know that this call is all about you. It's all about getting your questions answered, getting you fueled up, getting you educated about what we have. So if there's something that comes up while you're on this call and you want to ask about it, go for it. You can raise your hand, you can put it in the chats, and we can get that answered for you tonight. So I was thinking that, one of the most important aspects of our healing journey is our gut health. And we have all, most of us, been kind of exploring how we can make our gut health so much happier and more function better and be more resilient and really boost our immune systems. And our technology, I just want to highlight this, this prebiotic, if you guys haven't tried it. This is a really special formula. It's like the most important thing if you were going to plant a garden is to make sure that the soil is properly aligned. It has all the nutrients that it needs, that you place your garden in the best place for the sunlight to hit, just the right amount. You have the, cleanest water. And if you can set up the environment, then your plants, your flowers, your vegetables, they're all going to grow really spectacularly. And that's what we want our probiotics and the healthy bacteria in our gut to do. But this prebiotic has some really amazing qualities that if you haven't learned about it yet, you're going to want to learn about this and add this to your regime, because the more we can absorb all of the nutrients and we have our gut health working properly, the more our activation works. So this is really cool. And I just wanted to see if there was anybody on here who has a really interesting gut story that they might want to share tonight. Open up their guts and share it with us. Kim, Susan, Nicole, any of you guys?
Well, I can speak to it. I don't know if I can speak to it as delicately as the occasion might require, but I can speak to it. So as someone who spent 11 years on chemo, you can imagine what my gut health was like. I mean, I felt bloated and bound up and uncomfortable all the time. So, trying to think back to when I first started using these products. I remember when the Prebiotic came out, I was taking the Vitality Stack, and the Vitality Stack has the probiotic in it. but the prebiotic really made a big difference for me. Things seemed to just get easier and more regular, and I got more comfortable the longer I was on it. Now, when I don't use it, I miss it, right? I actually miss it, if you can believe that. But having a daily routine that I can count on and know what to expect and when to expect, and be able to, how do you say it? I mean, just have things move through me like they're supposed to on a daily basis has been a real game changer as far as my feeling comfortable in my own body, really. So that's my story. I don't want to get any more graphic than that.
Well, having been on oral chemo for so long and then being activated, you really have a lot of toxins coming out. You have a lot that you need to move through. And sometimes when those things aren't moving along, they can make us feel worse. Yeah. And you can get that detox, those detox symptoms. You can get headaches, the kind of flu-like things, and body aches, general fatigue. And so really making sure that all of the toxins that we are detoxing make it all the way through the system is so important in order to really feel all the benefits of what we're doing.
Right.
Nicole?
It's true. I mean, I went through all of that. I mean, it took me, it was quite a process of detoxification that I went through, and it tended to happen in stages. And I think things got progressively cleaner. Every time a product came out that we have, things got better. And I don't remember what year the prebiotic came out. Do you remember, Jennings, when that was?
Just a couple of years ago, maybe 3 years.
Yeah, it just seemed to really help ease things up a lot, really. I don't know really how to describe it other than that. I mean, just
your detox eased as your
process was easier. Yeah. Things started getting easier as far as clearing and all of that. So I'll never not take it. It's just like everything else. I'll never not take it. So
excellent.
If I do, it won't be on purpose.
Thank you so much for sharing. Nicole, I know that you had a lot of allergies, a lot of different gut things going on, and maybe you were trying to get to the answers, and all you were taking all sorts of supplements and all herbs and all different things, and yet you were really struggling to even be able to eat when you first started this journey, right?
Yeah, definitely. And as you were talking, that's immediately where my mind went. Was I was aware that I needed to take a probiotic. I can't remember what practitioner I saw that enlightened me to probiotics. So I had been taking probiotics religiously for several years before our probiotic came out. And I distinctly remember switching over from the top shelf, high quality, $80 probiotic to our special technology that comes with our probiotic. And I could feel the difference. And I had never really felt probiotics before. But what I first noticed was that I was able to eat more types of food, like grains and dairy, particularly set my stomach off. And I was then able to have little bits at a time that didn't affect me. But as you travel, or if you're going to friends' houses and eating, or just having life happen, you come in contact with things that might not be on your strict diet. And I didn't have to be as freaked out about eating those things because my body was definitely handling them much better. I've been taking our probiotics since it came out. And then when I added the prebiotic in, just as Kim said, it really made everything work better. And I love that feeling of just being able to process the foods that I'm eating and be confident that I'm getting the nutrients from the carefully prepared food that we're making. I forgot my prebiotic on the last little trip that we took. And boy, I missed it because we're eating at restaurants and outside of my normal home restaurant, which I love my home food so much. And when you're outside of that regimen, it's so nice to have the tool with you to keep everything happy. And so that was a big reminder of how important that prebiotic is, to make sure to bring it with me when I'm traveling and eating unusual foods, and just how much I rely on that for my health.
Can I add a thought to that? You just, at my age, I don't know if you experience this at your age or not. When I travel, I tend to get dysregulated, right? That's been my history, is to get dysregulated when I travel. When I get on a plane and fly somewhere, I'm staying somewhere different. I'm out of my comfort zone. Everything is different and things tend to back up on me, right? That does not happen with our pre and probiotics.
I have to second that.
Yeah,
And
does
just
not happen.
as a firsthand experience that I was just reminded about.
Yeah.
Thank you, ladies. I'd like to ask you both, how do you feel like, as somebody who may be starting on our technology, on maybe they're starting on Protanum Nerf 2, or they're on the Tri-Synergizer, the Vitality Stack, what is the benefit and why would you be adding and concentrating on adding this gut health in along with it? What would be the benefit of that?
Ooh, I know what I want to say. So I heard a really great analogy recently. Would you want to put brand new furniture in a house that was burning down? Would that make sense?
No.
No. So if you think about your gut being inflamed, if you're putting probiotics in a flaming gut, it's like putting brand new furniture in a flaming house. And when you actually heal the environment with the prebiotic drink, and it really goes through and prepares the environment, then when you take the probiotic, you're really having that 1-2 punch for the gut health.
Can I add something here?
Definitely.
And this is Susan, and not only that, but if you are taking the activators and you have an unhealthy gut, you're not, the absorption of all these other incredibly, I'm going to say rich, because that's the only word I know for how amazing these products are. But so every now and then somebody will say, well, I'm really not noticing anything. And I say, well, what do you think about your gut health? I really believe that's like foundational. You have to have a healthy digestive system in order to get the benefit of the activators. It's kind of like like you put them on a scale, like what are you going to give up? And I wanted to say something about my experience with the prebiotic also. First of all, I never do not take it. I always take it because it makes me feel so good. And it's the same thing as I think Kim and everybody knows, if you've been on the products, as our company has come out with a new product, I believe so strongly in our scientists and our research department that they did it because we need it. And I trust the manufacturing and the production of it. So I added it. Well, the prebiotic did the same thing for me, made me even more regular. Everything feels good. I don't get as much the traveling issues that I did as well, like Kim was describing. But my blood sugar, and this was after adding the prebiotic, my blood sugar is like perfect. I eat fairly well. I think people think I eat really well, and sometimes I don't. But I'm really into healthy eating. But I had been traveling and I was with family and we were having ice cream and dessert and going out to restaurants. And I had my blood sugar also at 67. I hardly ever have any kind of need for healthcare, but every now and then I'm thinking, well, maybe I should have some blood levels, drawn just to see, make sure everything's looking good. My A1C was so good. My nurse practitioner said she's never seen it so good. And you can, and the prebiotic, it does help maintain healthy blood sugar levels. So it's one of the things that we do. And it's because of that we're absorbing our foods properly and digesting properly. So I will never not take it.
Very
I'm
cool.
if you don't mind, Jennings, I just want to speak to nutrition for a minute. So my nutrition is probably different than the average person's. LifeVantage products didn't cure me, but they sure have kept me alive. And I have a blood disorder. And as a result of my blood disorder, I can't eat leafy greens or things like, I'm not supposed to eat things like broccoli, leafy greens, that kind of stuff, because it has a lot of vitamin K in it, and that contributes to clotting. So because of that, I eat quite a bit of dairy, I eat quite a bit of cheese, I eat quite a bit of yogurt, I eat quite a bit of meat, okay? So that's what my diet consists of. Now I stay away from carbs some, but I eat a fair amount of carbs. So my diet is probably not would be considered classically the best diet, but because I'm doing all these products, in particular the gut health products, I get my fiber from them, I get my nutrients from everything I'm taking, and I've exceeded my Western medicine sell-by date by 4.5 years now, after being off of chemo for 7 years now, and being on Protandim 7 or 8 years, and being on Protandim for 9 years now. So there you go. So it's interesting. You don't have to have the perfect diet to be able to benefit from these. In fact, you may be even better off, as a result.
Right. One of the things that our VP of Research and Development, I call him our Chief Science Officer, Dr. Brian Dixon, said was about the prebiotic, that it's you don't want to be without it because it does have really good fiber in it. So all of those things are working together to make our gut down deep into the gut healthiest.
Nicole, will you describe how we talk a lot about leaky gut syndrome. You hear that a lot. And one of the things that our prebiotic and probiotic do is they help to make your membrane more rock solid. Can you explain that a little bit?
Well, for those of you that have not heard or don't know very much about leaky gut, it's when there is not enough mucus membrane surrounding your intestines. And therefore it's a very thin lining, and there's microscopic pathways that the food and the digestive enzymes and all the things that are going through your gut can leak out into your blood. And when that happens, it makes you feel really icky. So it's very important to be promoting that mucus membrane to control the leaky gut, so you're not actually exchanging the food into your blood. That's not normal. We want to have that be a really healthy lining. And then maybe you've heard of the gut-brain connection. So our gut and our brain, they share neurotransmitters. You've probably heard of serotonin and dopamine, and I know there's a bunch of other ones that I can't list off the top of my head because I'm not a scientist, but I have looked and researched and felt the benefits of these for so many years. It's more comfortable to talk about. So our probiotic actually is a time release mechanism. It's like time release formula. And so when you take the probiotic, it actually survives your stomach acid, and it gets into that small intestine where the neurotransmitters are. And now we're having a time release experience with this product. So it's time releasing the right microbiome along the way to the right neurotransmitter, because science has done that research. They know what serotonin wants to eat as far as microbiome. They know what they all thrive in. So we're able to time release and feed those areas of the gut so that we can heal the gut-brain connection. And that excites me so much, because have you ever had a gut reaction before you could think of an answer or think of the decision? And that gut reaction is really our first brain. And when the gut-brain connection is very strong, it's a lot easier to listen to that gut response. this actually supports you being able to listen to your gut response better.
So, and just to tag on, I work with a lot of people with brain injury. So if the brain is unhealthy, that can dysregulate the gut. If the gut is unhealthy, that can dysregulate the brain. Leaky gut can cause brain fog. So so a lot of this is very important from the standpoint of maintaining the health of both, because it goes both ways. A lot of people think it's the brain to the gut and that's it. It's not. It's the brain to the gut, but also the gut to the brain. And so 90% of those neurotransmitters are created in our gut. They need to get from our gut to our brain. If we've got a leaky gut, or if we've got all kinds of problems, it has a hard time getting there. So, and we want a clear brain, right? We want clarity. We want the ability to focus. We want to be able to listen to our gut when it's trying to talk with us. I mean, can you imagine not having that connection with your gut? How much we rely on that gut instinct and not having that connection?
I think that that's one of the things that a lot of us have noticed most, that maybe you couldn't put on a bottle or you couldn't name in a study, but our intuition, our clarity and our ability to see things more clearly or feel things, have our gut feeling be more aware of that, has really been one of the best benefits of this technology. So thank you all so much for sharing those insights about gut health. I'm wondering if there's anybody on here who has a question about gut health, or has another story that they'd like to share, or something that they're wondering about in particular about these products, or anything on your mind. I know we have a couple of guests on here. Not sure if they want to be brave and speak out, but anything you guys want to know for another call about gut health, or any questions that we can bring back for another session. You can put it in the chat as well. I know for me, I didn't really realize, even though I've really struggled my whole life, I struggled with asthma, I got infected with Montezuma's Revenge when I was very young, and that kind of set me on a course of struggle in terms of gut health since I was 13. And I didn't really realize how cumulative your gut health can be. So once it's out of whack, which is very easy to do nowadays, especially with the quality of our food, even if you're growing it yourself or getting it at the organic market or whatever, it's still compromised. When you think about decades of being out of balance and then constantly being bombarded every single day, this is one of the areas where we need the most support. And a lot of the products out there that you'll maybe see in the health food store, especially probiotics, a large portion of the bacteria that are in those products, if they're refrigerated or if they're in a liquid form or whatever, most of them have a lot of bacteria that are already dead by the time you ingest them. So that's why in a lot of cases, they have so many billions of CFUs of bacteria in them. And when you look at our probiotic, it actually has a much lower count of the bacteria in it. And it's six major strains of the most common probiotics that we all need. When you look at it and you say, well, this is a much smaller amount, it's because it's actually delivered in a way that about 70% of the bacteria make it all the way through your system. And so if you're actually getting live bacteria to make it all the way through, they survive, and then they're in a healthy environment because you've been supporting that, you're going to actually feel a big difference. So I think that that's one of the most common things I think that I've heard, is that people are getting the probiotics from Costco, they're going to the health food store, they're getting the highest quality they can, and yet they just don't feel it. So if you want to take it from us, we've experimented, we've been on this journey, we've tried it all, And we can really definitely tell a difference. One of the things that I can tell in my family is that when my family takes the gut health products, we don't experience all the flus and the yucky stuff that comes home from school. I have two boys, they're 8 and 11. And when we're all doing, on track, doing the right thing, everybody's healthy. We went years and years and years without anybody even having a cold. And that's pretty rare up here in the Northwest, where we don't get enough sunlight. We don't have enough vitamin D. It's cold and rainy and snowy. And in these times when we're exposed to a lot of different things, we really need to work on getting that immune system boosted as much as possible and our defense mechanism running at full speed. So.
And it's true, right, Jennings, that our immune system really, the foundation of our immune system is in our gut. It's really the foundation of our immune system. And so that's why it's so important to keep our gut healthy. And I had a couple of other thoughts. When do you take yours?
I love to take this prebiotic first thing in the morning with an Axio. So Axio is our nootropic, our brain drink. And I've gotten in the habit of mixing the two together. And when I start off the day like that, like Susan, I've always struggled with hypoglycemia. So my blood sugar would go high and then it'd drop. But this, when I drink it first thing in the morning, my blood sugar stays much more stable throughout the day. And somehow I just don't have the same cravings throughout the day. I just feel solid, not quite as hungry, because I'm always hungry, but not quite as looking for something. And the other cool thing about both our probiotic and our prebiotic is that you can take them multiple times a day. So if you're feeling I feel a little off, maybe something's coming on, you can boost these up, and it's really going to give you that extra support to kick the cold or kick the flu or whatever before it settles in. I take the probiotic at night. I take it right before bed because that's, for me, the easiest time to take the whole stack, wash it all down, and I won't miss it. Other people love to take it in the morning. And I think what's important is take it, just get it in there. Don't worry so much about when or how, but just get it in there. It's going to work. And play around with it. Find your own routine that works for you.
I wanted to add something that we didn't touch on at all, but our skin, especially our face, is a direct correlation to how well our gut is functioning. And so for anybody that is struggling with any type of skin issues, whether it's rosacea or acne or the hormones, you really see that chin strap on the skin on your face. When you use this gut system, you'll notice that your skin is more clear, and you'll probably notice on the call, you'll notice that the people that are speaking about this have really clear skin. That's because we're taking this stuff. And I definitely did not always have clear, beautiful skin like this. I had very red cheeks, red chin. I'd be breaking out on my chin a lot. And that's really uncomfortable. And I'd always be really self-conscious about it and putting a lot of makeup on to cover it up. And I just can't stress enough, we have a solution. If you're struggling with that, this gut health line is definitely a great defense for skin as well.
Right. And a lot of people don't realize that acid reflux is a gut health problem. Right. So that's the other thing that we can really help people with, is that acid backwash that happens a lot when the gut starts calming down, that starts calming down.
So one of the most important things that we focus on is inflammation, getting to the root cause of all of these issues. So our activators are really getting to that oxidative stress, the mitochondria, our metabolism with the NAD, getting all of those major cell signaling pathways working, functioning at full steam. But then we have these other major things, like our gut is a huge area. And so while we're working on getting those major pathways, those cell signaling pathways, working on turning back the clock, getting our blood back to the age of a 20-year-old, we also if we can focus on this gut health, it's going to exponentially expedite your health journey. So if you have any questions about that, we're always here. You can put it in the Wildly Healthy chat. Oh, okay, good. What's the impact of this product for people who have had weight loss surgery? Anybody in particular want to speak on that?
I was just going to say, that's a great question. I don't have any experience with that myself, but.
Well, one of the things I know is that when you've had weight loss surgery, especially if you had a gastric bypass, right? Your stomach is so much smaller. You can't absorb food the way that you used to. And so these are tremendously beneficial for that. So more nutrients that you are intaking are going to get absorbed in a healthy way. And there's no side effect, I would say, no adverse effect of taking these products if you've had weight loss surgery. So we've had a lot of people who have had gallbladders removed that take these products that find them seriously beneficial because they have a hard time digesting food. So I would just encourage you, like, definitely, yes, these are awesome. And we notice a lot of people when they start working on weight loss, it's not only weight loss that's actual fat, but it's also inflammation. Inflammation adds so much, your body's surrounding every toxin with water, with fluid, and with fat to protect yourself from it. And so, so if you're able to, like Nicole said, calm down the fire, put that out, and then you start putting in these healthy bacteria, every nutrient that you're eating, you're gonna be getting so much more from it that you're not gonna be craving things, you're not gonna be feeling that need to overeat, or it just really starts to regulate and balance things out.
And support that journey.
Yeah. Yep. And when you feel better, I just know for myself, when I feel better, I eat better. When you don't feel good, you're often reaching for that sugar, you're reaching for salt, you're reaching for junk food. You just want anything that you can that will kind of offset that icky feeling. And so you start to feel better, you start to have more energy, you start to want to cook more, and it just little bit at a time gets so much better. Well, maybe on one of our next calls, we'll talk about weight loss. We do have an amazing fat burn product, which is very, very cool, and a very clean whey protein shake, which we all love. So yeah, I hope that answered your question. Nicole says the prebiotic satiates the gut, so you can take it 30 minutes before a meal, which is a great point. Yeah, definitely drink this prebiotic 30 minutes before a large meal, or on an empty stomach, so that fiber can get in there and do its job. Thank you so much, everybody, for being on the call tonight, for being part of our Wildly Healthy journey. Next Wednesday, we will have our Wildly Healthy potential call, and that is a 30-minute presentation that talks a little bit more about if you're interested in sharing this technology, if you're interested in looking for a home-based business or being part of a community of personal developers, entrepreneurs, and being on the cutting edge of nutrigenomics. So same time, same place, same link, 5:30 p.m. Pacific time next Wednesday. So cheers to Wildly Healthy Night. And we'll see you guys all soon.
Cheers.